Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the 90. I've got a very special guest with me. It's me and Ant, as usual, and we've got Doug with us from the Doug Out Football channel. How are you doing, Doug?
I'm good, thank you, Neil. Thank you very much for having me, and looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. I think Ant is as well. Just obviously, with the whole situation at the moment with Leicester, and the preseason is 2 weeks away. So, how are you feeling overall about the season? Because it's come round really quick.
I'll tell you something. It's like, we had the Community Shield at the weekend, and obviously we lost that, but obviously it does be a good omen because obviously the last time we lost the Community Shield, we went on to win the league. So I'm hoping that happens again. But no, going. 2 weeks away. It's crazy how quickly it's come. Really. Obviously, because obviously there's an international break now. And then obviously the next game week, you've got one full week of training, and then you're into your first game. So, but yeah, it feels like it's come round really, really quickly.
It really has, and it's still surprising to me that normally they start this earlier and they've have a month under their belt. But it's something that I think we're going to talk about in a bit, which is the two pre-match games for Leicester as well. But just over to you, Ant. I think you were just saying off camera some of the highlights, because we've got the Birmingham City and Sheffield Wednesday, which again were pretty dismal before. Not dismal, but just not entertaining, not boring, not really interesting. And it's not looking too great, is it, coming into this season?
It's not, no, and I know we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to Liverpool, but when you look at the level between them, sort of, I know they lost to Arsenal, but a very evenly played game at such high intensity and stuff. And then us against Sheffield Wednesday, the levels are staggeringly different between us and Arsenal and Liverpool. Like most teams I'm watching right now, they're looking a hell of a lot better than we are. And I know we've still got 2 weeks to prepare, but it doesn't fill me with confidence.
Really, I could completely agree. Even on the Sheffield Wednesday post-match conference, which you can see on the Leicester City Football Club YouTube channel, Rodgers has said about a minute in, we've got a long way to go. And just saying we've got 2 weeks to the beginning of the season, it's going to be an intense season. As you imagine, a lot of these players from our teams and from Liverpool's team as well will be vying for that position for the World Cup. And it's going to be a very intense time. Plus, we're starting much later than usual. Everybody has to hit the ground running, but I think overall we're not looking too confident on this front. We just want to ask you, Doug, because obviously we're going to try and compare it. It was not the same, but when you guys nearly won the league and then subsequently Rodgers was fired, over the summer of that transfer window, why was it? What happened like behind the scenes that really made Rodgers that led to Rodgers being sacked?
Yeah, I can honestly say that he didn't get many of his first targets. Replacing Luis Suarez with Ricky Lambert kind of set the story straight. We got Lazar Markovic for £20 million, and that was a very, very bad signing as well. I think we got Chan that summer as well, but he didn't get his main targets, and it just started to fall away. Obviously, the Champions League that season as well, we didn't even qualify out of the group stage, and then we got Besiktas in the Europa League, and we were knocked out as well. So to go from obviously the euphoria of obviously nearly winning the league to going back to sort of reality of like how bad we actually were that season, kind of reminds me of what's actually happening at Leicester now. But I hope you do get new signings. Obviously I do, because obviously nothing's happened at the moment. But from what I've read, apparently Rodgers wants full control of transfers. He didn't get that at Liverpool, so I'm wondering if there's a similar story happening here.
Yeah, it seems like that case. I'm just going to ask you, Ant, what have you heard from behind the scenes from, is it a similar thing that's happening as Doug was saying in Liverpool?
But to an extent, yeah, but it's a very different time for us now than it was at Liverpool, because I know he wants more control over transfers and stuff, but that's not how Leicester operate. Rudkin runs transfers and stuff, and Lee Congerton, or whatever his name is, they're in charge of transfers. So Brendan Rodgers is going to struggle to sort of get into that. But we as much as frustrated as I am that we're not making signings, we need to remember who owns us. and we're owned by Top and obviously King Power and stuff, a duty-free company. What have the airports been doing over the last sort of 6-7 months? They've all been shut. So King Power's going to be right down. So I think we've just got to be patient because King Power have done nothing but good since they've come into Leicester, and I think this is the first time that they've really they haven't really invested, and it's out of their control completely. So I think we've just got to give them sort of a bit of time, maybe sort of see it out this window, and then I hope we can get one or two players in, but then go again next summer.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the thing that they have done though is it's all seemed to be this week. All of the new deals seem to be kicking off. So since it seems to be since the Chilwell had been transferred to Chelsea and it has been behind the scenes was like confirmed. They'd got Maddison on a new deal, Luke Thomas, which is our new left back, our new 19-year-old left back, up and coming person on a new deal, which made sense for the most part. And then they decided to sign Vardy on an extra deal, which is a bit of a strange one since he was on a long deal to begin with, and then give Mendy an extra deal as well. So I just get your thoughts on that, just in general. Is that something that you would have done if you were in charge, or is this just the best of what we can do and just retain the players that we've got?
So I agree with giving Thomas a new deal. I agree with giving Maddison a new deal. And Mendy, yeah, because originally it looked like if we got Champions League, William Carvalho would have come in, Mendy would have gone on. But because we haven't got Champions League, that deal's not going to happen. So yeah, I can see the logic behind keeping Mendy. Personally, wouldn't have done it, but I understand why it's been done. But this is where I know I'm going to upset a lot of people because everyone absolutely loves Vardy and rightly so. But it seemed like a sentimentality thing to give him one more year. And for sort of a football club that wants to be pushing up the highest level, there shouldn't be any room for sentimentality. Because by the time that deal goes out, what's he going to be, 36, 37? And he'll be still one of our top earners. Most top clubs, once a player gets to sort of Vardy's age, it's a 1 year deal, 1 year deal, 1 year deal. You don't give him a 3 year deal.
Yeah, I totally agree. And another thing as well, just for I don't know if you know about Vardy, but I think there's a clause in his contract where he has to be he has to be the highest earner at the club. So if you're going to bring somebody in, you've got to initially bump his which is brilliant for him to do that. But it looks like, just to come back to what we were saying earlier, behind the scenes, Rodgers is trying to do the same thing that he's doing for Liverpool, where he's trying to do everything his way. And especially what's one thing that Leicester's known for is our scouting system. And the fact that we can bring in a young player like a Soyuncu, like an Evans, like a Kante, like an Evans, like I was going to say Ricardo, and then take them to the next level. So Rodgers wants to scrap possibly the best thing about Leicester at this current time. So we were talking about this behind the scenes, and we're not sure if he'll be able to survive the season. Obviously, Leicester for him was a starting block to be able to get from one point and move on to the next level. But it just seems like he's doing the same old thing and he's not really learned his lessons. So does this surprise you coming from a Liverpool fan? That's obviously you've had him and you've seen this, or do you think he should have really learned from his time?
I think he really should have learned from his time at Liverpool is that he wasn't going to get full control of transfers, and especially we had a transfer committee then, which didn't really work. So obviously Rodkin and Congerton make the decisions over transfers. I think with obviously having Europa League as well, I think that's going to be a very, very, I think you need reinvestment. I think you do need reinforcements as well. Especially, I know Luke Thomas has been fantastic since he came in. Maybe get an experienced left back. Obviously, I know for the rumours that you're possibly being linked with Tagliafico, which I think would be a fantastic signing. But yeah, I think there is a similarity from where he was at Liverpool, in that he should learn his lesson. But you know what? Europa League is going to be a very, very interesting time of it for Leicester, because I don't think Leicester City are, used to European football. Okay, one season, in the Champions League, and then obviously after that, Europa League as well. So it'd be interesting to see how well Leicester can obviously adapt from like Wednesday to Saturday football, and now sort of Thursday to Sunday football.
Yeah, I was going to bring it back to that, just with the whole Rodgers thing and the fact that you guys have played, you got knocked out of the Champions League, and then you were knocked out of the Europa League as well. Does Rodgers tend to, does he seem like he can manage? Because he didn't seem to manage it that well. I know Celtic's a different level, but he didn't seem to manage it too well with Celtic either. But can he balance the Premier League? What do you think? Because obviously that Liverpool team is stronger than our Leicester team, and it's got a bigger squad depth. So with us, this is our first time as well, as you were saying, in the Europa League. So how do you think he will balance the Premier League, the intensity, especially of this year's Premier League, and as well with the whole situation that's going on with the Europa League? Because as you know firsthand, it's a lot to play Thursday, Sunday, as you were saying.
It's interesting that you said the Celtic days. He wasn't very good in Europe with Celtic. I mean, I think there was one season that they got in the Champions League group stage, but they got knocked out. I think they were in a group of like AC Milan, Bayern Munich, and PSG, I think, from memory. I could be completely wrong on that. But yeah, he didn't have a very good record in the Europa League either. So that's something he's going to have to definitely improve upon. I think he may focus on the Premier League more than the Europa League. I think the Europa League's a bonus. See how far you can get. See who you get in your group first. That's the main thing. And it could be very, very interesting. But I think what's going to happen, I think he's going to probably play strong in the Premier League and maybe rotate in the Europa League. Because obviously on top of that, you'll have obviously Carabao Cup as well. You'll obviously have the FA Cup coming on in January as well. So I think he's going to have to maybe mix and change a few things. Sort of maybe go strong in Premier League, maybe go rotate in the Europa League. But it's going to be very intriguing what he does.
Yeah, I think I totally agree, because especially with the lack of signings we've had, and under Congerton and Rodgers, we've signed Ryan Bennett on loan, and that's pretty much all we've had since he first joined, which is not looking too good. Just over to you, Ant, just kind of with the whole Europa League thing at the moment, do you think it's similar to Dugway? Because obviously we would have expected some signings so far, and we've not got any, but as you were saying, we can understand. What do you think our philosophy and our plan is for the Europa League? To play the under-23s, kind of emphasize the Premier League? Because last time we were in the Champions League, obviously we nearly fell out and went into absolutely nothing for the Premier League and fell out of it altogether.
I think we need to get the balance right, because we will play against some weaker teams in the group stage of the Europa League. And for those, I think to be playing like you likes of Luke Thomas, Dewsbury Hall, Hamza Chowdhury, Damari Gray, sort of those kind of players. But at the same time, if we're in it, this is sort of, I know it's unlikely that we win it, but it's our best route back into the Champions League.
Yeah.
For sure, especially the ways that the other teams have been building. And just around that, Doug, obviously Chelsea and Man City have been taking or especially Chelsea have been taking all the highlights, just dishing out the money, and potentially we'll see what happens with Man City. They're looking at a few brilliant deals as well, including Messi. But it seems like Liverpool have slipped right under that radar once again. Is that probably the best position that you could ask for, even though you've just won the league?
Yeah, definitely. I think there was something that we've spent, it was 106 million in transfers, I think, since 2015, 2016. So, you know what, that's obviously net spend. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with our business so far. Shimikas, we've needed a backup left back as well. There's talk that Van Aldum's possibly going to Barcelona. Apparently, there's been rumours that apparently Barcelona have contacted Liverpool about a deal. And then obviously, I think they said they'd be announced if we get Thiago. And Thiago would be a very, very good signing as well. But obviously, Liverpool don't want to pay the money. So, but I reckon that a couple of outs might change their mind. But apparently, we've been in for Ayer as well at Celtic as well, which could be a Lovren replacement. But the business that Chelsea are doing is just incredible. Thiago Silva, Thiago Silva? Obviously Kai Harris hasn't signed yet. Ben Chilwell, yeah, obviously. I want to ask you, what do you make of Ben Chilwell to Chelsea? Are you happy that you got obviously 55 million for him?
And I'll give this one over to you.
I think we got a very good fee for me, but I put it on Twitter the other day, but the mistake won't be selling Chilwell, because I don't think that was the wrong thing to do. The mistake will be not replacing him properly.
I think it's a very, very good move, and I think obviously looking at it, it's good business for Chelsea. It's good business for Leicester. I mean, you've done really well to get 55 million. I'm not going to lie. I think Chelsea's very good attacking, but obviously he's not the best defensively as well. Ziyech is a great signing for Chelsea. I've always been a fan of him. Werner, very good signing. Obviously, we were in for him as well. And obviously, some of the names as well that you're seeing like mentioned. Obviously, they got Malang Sarr as well on a free, but he's gone back on loan for the rest of the season. And then there's talk that Donnarumma could be potentially going to Chelsea as well. So it's mad business that they're doing, and apparently they want Declan Rice as well. So, but too much chopping and changing might be interesting, because I think if you chop and change too much, that team needs to gel first. So it'll be interesting to see how Chelsea start, because obviously they have got a decent start. Obviously they've got us. They've got us to begin at Stamford Bridge. They've got Brighton away, which I think they drew 1-1 at the weekend as well. So, Man City, they're making good signings in Ferran Torres. So I'm not too worried about being left behind. Seeing all these teams spend. I reckon that we're just waiting for the right deal to happen.
And what kind of deal and what kind of player do you think that will be? Because it seems like obviously Salah and Mane aren't getting any younger, but at the same time, the squad still seems quite young and quite vibrant. So will it be a case of second season syndrome almost?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like I was saying this on a Premier League podcast the other day. We go from having a very good season to a really bad season. For example, 2001, 2002, we finished second to Arsenal. And then we finished fourth, 2002, 2003. And then 2008, 2009, we finished second to Manchester United. 2009, 2010, we finished seventh. And then 2013, 2014, finishing second to Man City. And then we finished, I think it was eighth in 2014, 2015. So we need to go from basically having a good season to then having another good season the next again season. We don't do that. So that's something we're going to have to be a bit wary of. But no, I think Thiago would be a fantastic signing for us. I think we do need another midfielder. Apparently, obviously, we're in for IR as well. He's only 22 as well. So again, it's another, Klopp likes to buy young players for certain positions. And I think IR would have to wait to get his turn in the team. But he'd be a very solid choice for sure. And I believe we're in for a young goalkeeper as well. So yeah, it's sort of building for the future, I think. And I think Ismaila Sarr was being mentioned as well. But I don't want to pay 40 million to Watford for him. It's a championship club. They got him for 30 million, so I don't understand why they're valuing him 40 million. But there we go.
I think it's because they can charge what they want to charge, and they've realised this window is going a bit crazy. But just over to you, Ant. We've got one rumour so there's been nothing really concrete that's been happening for Leicester. As you can imagine, over the summer, we were in for players, and it's probably the same with you, as you've experienced, Doug, as you were saying earlier, where it was, Rod's be interesting, we can't get him. Okay, we try something else. So now we're in for Timothy Castagna from Atalanta. So 24-year-old, 1.8 meters tall. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He can play multiple positions, including main position for Atalanta was right back, play right mid, left mid, and then we're probably looking at him for the left back position to replace Chilwell. I don't know if you managed to see that, or if he's probably one of the ones that would be interested in, because as Doug was saying earlier, we were interested in Tagliafico and other players, but they were just too expensive for us.
Yeah, as you say, Tagliafico would have been the ideal replacement, but I can't say I've seen a huge amount of Timothy. I don't even know how to pronounce his second name, Castanhas or whatever it is.
Castagna, I think it's how you pronounce it.
I'm just going for lasagna, but then changing it slightly.
But no, from what I've seen of him, which is very limited, he does look very good going forward. But I don't like the fact that we're buying someone who's a right back who's filled in at left back for Atalanta last year to be the replacement for Chilwell. Like, there's options out there, and this almost feels like it's just buy anyone in and fill the gap.
Yeah, and I think because he fits the price bracket, because apparently from transfer market he's 16.8 million compared to a 40 mil that Ajax are offering, that Ajax are bounding about, and we just can't seem to afford that. Do you think potentially in the future we would, or coming up to January, we would go for somebody like that if things start to get back to normal and the finances are better?
Not if I think if we buy a left back now, it will be for the longer term, because particularly of age. Because I can't see us buying a left back now and then in January going in and buying another left back when we've got other holes in our team, like a right winger, centre back, potential replacement for Vardy in the longer term. So for me, I think he will be a good player for us, but I do think that there are better options like Jamal Lewis out there.
No, I totally agree. And just a one note from the just to coming back to you, reminding me something of centre backs. Wes Morgan is now put on the injury list as well, so we've got even more people that we need replacement for. So I just saw you shake your head, Ant. Do you want to continue from there?
This shouldn't even be a concern for us that a 36-year-old is getting injured in pre-season. It just shows the lack of depth that we've got as centre back. The fact that we're worrying about someone who shouldn't really have to feature more than sort of 2 or 3 times this season, but we're worrying that he's injured. But if that doesn't say that we need to sign a centre back, I don't know what will.
So this season we've played Johnson a lot. We'll see if he gets Donald Johnson. We'll see if he gets a run in the team. We'll also Evans doesn't seem to have featured. I don't know if he's injured a lot. Benkovic seems to have come back and been okay as well. So is it not looking as bad as we think, or are we overthinking it a little bit?
Well, Evans can't play for the first 3 games anyway because he got a red card against United last season. But sorry.
I forgot about that. I actually forgot about Johnny Evans getting sent off. That's how bad my brain has been since the end of the season.
Which only feels like a couple of weeks ago, anyway.
It was only a couple of weeks ago. That's right. But so what we've got Siunchu, Benkovic, and Johnny Evans. So we've got 3. Benkovic is made of glass, so you can't really rely on him too much. And he's never played a minute of Premier League football. Darnell Johnson, again, very similar, promising player, never played in the Premier League. So then we're just back to Siunchu and Evans. So, yes, that partnership's very good, but I would like sort of one more centre-back that we could bring in and rely on.
Definitely, but I don't think that's going to happen this season. But just overall, back to you, Doug, just kind of with the whole Liverpool thing, do you think you guys will be up there challenging this season? Because I think you were saying earlier, with the fact that you have a good season, bad season, bad season, when it comes to you do well and then you fall away. Obviously, the other teams around you have strengthened a little bit, but at the same time, you're looking at a team like even Everton are looking to sign James Rodriguez. They're signing some really, really good players. Is it still a team that you think will be able to challenge? Because Klopp seems to have brought a different energy and a charisma and a passion to the football club that I think may continue into the next season.
I think we will definitely be challenging. I think obviously looking at it, Chelsea are probably going to be our main challenger. I think to us in City. Not sure about Manchester United. I know they're getting Donny van de Beek, which is a fantastic signing. Don't get me wrong. But they need more than Donny van de Beek. That's something that you can definitely say for sure. I do think we will. I'm going to say now, I do think we may win it again. I do think we can defend it. We haven't. I think the only team to defend it recently is Manchester City. So that's only been done, I think, twice in a decade, I think, from what I was reading as well. But I wonder if Man City's focus will probably swing towards the Premier League now, because I reckon they had their best ever chance to win the Champions League and they blew it. So I think Man City will be ever determined to take back their trophy. But I think Chelsea are going to be very, very determined as well. So I don't think it's going to be an 18-point margin this season. I think it could be. I think you could see between maybe 3-5 points that probably win it. And I think probably the points margin will probably be between 90 to 93 points that will win it.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Just on that, any thoughts about that? And just because it's going to be tough at the top of the table.
We're going to be nowhere near it, so
No, that's what I've not even asked about Leicester.
no, yeah. I just hope it's not boring like last year, because last year's title race, well, wasn't even a title race. It was just a bit dead and boring, because everyone apart from Liverpool and below were nowhere near that level. But I do think that Man City will be a lot more competitive next year. They were so unfortunate with the amount of injuries they picked up and stuff.
Yeah.
In the areas that they picked up injuries, like Laporte's so crucial to them. They're already sort of short of a centre back from by their own doing of not replacing Company. So, wait, is it cut off there?
No, it's still working, mate.
Oh, yeah. I'll go back to where I was saying about Man City with Laporte and stuff being unfortunate with injuries this year. So I think they'll be a lot stronger because they brought in Ake. I know that it's been sort of memed that 40 million for a relegation player. I think I was screaming for us to sign Ake last summer, so I think he's a brilliant addition for them. All playing centre back will fit into Pep's philosophy perfectly. And then Chelsea are basically playing Monopoly or career mode with the transfer market. They will challenge.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially with us, what's happening. But I can see it being interesting. I'm hoping that other teams like Everton, Wolves, I would like to say ourselves, but I don't think that's going to happen this season. But these other teams that have put up a bit of a fight last year, or will put more of a fight this year and try and take points off the bigger teams, which I'm really hoping for. But I just unfortunately don't see Leicester in that bracket with the Europa League. But I just like to thank you, Doug, for coming on once again. So where can the people find you?
My YouTube channel, the Dugout Football Channel, on 450 subscribers now, so closing in on that 500. You can find me on Twitter at nrod1992, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is douglas.horn, and Facebook is Douglas James Horn.
Awesome. We'll make sure to leave some of the descriptions, in the description for you, so you can follow Doug. But yeah, it'll be from me and Doug. Thank you for watching Beyond the 90. We'll see you all in the next video. So goodbye.